Yo, how is it going, everyone? My name is Jack, and today we are back with another juicy news video. Riot finally gave us important clarification on how the MMR system works and why you are placed with the players you are in ranked and unrated matches. We also get another confirmation of episode 2 being the Brimstone buff update, as well as what users suggest be done to the former Superstar controller agent. Finally, we've gotten a fresh set of leaks into the possible new map setting, as well as the tease of a huge leak coming soon, which means you definitely won't want to miss out on this video. And when you hop into ranked, the other thing you won't want to be missing are the domes of the enemies in front of you, which is why you want to go to SkillCapped.com to gain access to our elite training modules to help improve your game and get the rank you've always wanted. Get started today at the link down below. As we covered earlier this week, the community sentiment around ranked, and more specifically how ranks are given or taken away, has gotten sour to the point that it dominates most community discussions as we head nearer and nearer towards our first major update of the year. Riot have taken notice, and when user HardStuckBabe voiced their frustrations, a Riot dev responded and offered some incredible clarification between what the actual ranks signify and what the behind the scenes MMR stat actually does. MMR, for those less familiar, is a matchmaking rating similar to ELO, which is another common way of seeding people in a competitive system. Now, there's always a ton of confusion around these systems, as ELO sort of became like a catch-all term for ranking systems in common parlance in recent years, so you'll often hear people refer to their ranks of even their MMR systems as ELO, which really isn't correct. I mean, I've made this mistake in the past myself. Valorant operates on an MMR system. Even your unrated matches use MMR to make for fair matches and to put you against players of relative skill. The real confusion at the moment is that ranks like Gold 1 aren't defined well, whereas MMR is a specific number. If I have 400 MMR, it makes sense to play players near that MMR level, like in that range. But it feels weird to be like a Plat 1 player and see a random silver in your lobby. This is what Riot Dev Evermore clarified in response to HardStuckBabe. We'll show the full response on screen, but to summarize, back a few patches ago, there was a reshuffle of the MMR requirements for the lower rank tiers, as far too many players of different skill were being grouped into the Iron tier specifically. Riot didn't shift anyone's actual MMR, but rather moved the goalpost for what MMR range lands you in what ranked. Evermore gives a good example, but keep in mind these numbers aren't real, just for the demonstration. Let's say you are Iron 2 and have an MMR of 450. To be in Iron 2, you need between 400 and 500 MMR. Turns out that because of that range, too many players ended up in Iron 2, and Riot had underestimated just how many people would end up in that branch. So to fix it, and move the higher skill players up and equalize lobbies, Iron 2 requirements were changed to be between 400 and 420 MMR. And Iron 3 inherited a new goalpost of 421 to 480, so on and so forth through the rest of the ranks. In this example, this change would have shifted you out of Iron 2 on your first win to help place you in a better competitive environment. So, how does this relate to matchmaking? Well, when queuing for ranked, it's not that the game searches for all the Iron 2s it can. It searches for people who are close to you in MMR, and because MMR has a range for each rank that someone can have, it can create scenarios where gold players will see platinums and silvers in the same lobby, because of the game trying to keep the average MMR the same. So just keep in mind that the game is focusing on using your MMR, not your rank, to influence who you play with in a game, not the rank you have. This is wonderful clarification, and frankly, this is what I had suspected was the case, as is a common system used across many different games. But this still begs the obvious question: if my actual rank of Plat 1 is not a direct representation of my skill because I could be more on like the Gold 3 side of Plat instead of the Plat 2 side, then why in the hell can I not see my MMR rating? Just stop with the innocuous BS, Riot, and just give us a number below a rank that says, hey, here's your current MMR, here's the MMR you lose or gain from that match, and here's the MMR required to hit each rank. And let's just stop tiptoeing around this. Give your players the information, and then these problems go away. Do you guys agree? Let me know in the comments down below, because frankly it makes no sense not to just give us this information, especially because people have developed third-party websites and apps in recent times to access this MMR rating. I don't want to have to use some homebrew program to see something that the game should just display to me right off the rip. In lighter news, let's take a step back here, calm down, and let's talk about agent balance changes in the state of former best boy Brimstone. Now, you youngins who may not have picked up the game until after launch may not remember the glory days of the beta, where Omen was seen as useless and Brimstone dominated. But, just like that accent, those days are kind of far gone, and recently it seems the push for a controller shakeup in the meta has gone to the strongest it's ever been. I personally hope Riot don't take the route of just nerfing Omen, and instead continue to make Brimstone and Viper viable alternatives, and this Reddit post seems to confirm that. Reddit user Absolute posted some of their proposed changes to Brimstone, which I happen to agree with pretty strongly. I think the idea of caching or queuing smokes to be deployed later could be a huge breakthrough in how we structure site takes and retakes in Valorant. Like, the thought of setting up my smoke location on bind A right before the round starts and being able to push up short gun out just sounds dope and very freeing compared to how Brimstone is played currently. And then you really only need to hit your smoke button again to launch the attack. And also just the other quality of life things Absolute suggests just makes sense. And it seems to also make sense to Riot, as developer Altumbro confirms that Brimstone changes are coming down the pipe. While we're here though, I'd kind of like to toss my hat in the ring and offer up a few changes myself. I think these would be cool to see for Brimstone, and just keep in mind, I'm kind of going for ambitious changes here. I doubt Riot will think my ideas are good, but you gotta shoot your shot, lads, so let's do it. I think the current design of stim packs do nothing. Rate of fire simply doesn't matter when you can just doink people in one shot. It's a cool concept, but I just don't think it works in a competitive game like Valorant. So why not completely change them into true stim packs? Firstly, I think we should go from 2 packs to 1 for this change, or else things would get a little too wacky. But when deployed, the stim pack will give anyone who walks into it a 15% speed bonus that lasts for 10 to 15 seconds, once you leave the pack's radius. My thought is to turn this into what the Conjurer is in Team Fortress 2. This situational support tool that can set up a push and burst open defenses through pure chaos. I mean, come on. Imagine a Reyna skirt around the corner at Mach 1 armed for Bear in her ultimate. This certainly would probably be too good, but it would be super fun, okay? Just keep that in mind. It would be pretty dope even if it broke the game. My other more reasonable change is kind of a QOL change to the Molly. I think the Molly should travel faster on the same arc, but also it should get a secondary fire that allows the Molly to roll around and bounce a few times before detonation. This would allow for more creative bank shots and lineups similar to the Sova darts. This seems like a more reasonable and feasible change that could and should add some much needed creativity and variety to using the Molotov. Now, this isn't so much breaking news as it is cool to see behind the curtains into the game development that went into Valorant. Developer Lydia Frisk Zanatti on Twitter gave us a cool before and after set of images of various map locations that were given to them to bring to life as the 3D environmental artist at Riot. It's wild seeing what were just gray corridors turn into the familiar clutter and inner city chaos that is Split, and Frisk also gives us this awesome gif of the various iterations of A Heaven on Split as well. I gotta say, some of these darker, like moodier color palettes look really sick to me, but it's clear that the bright, industrial final design was also chosen for visibility's sake, which I recognize as much more important than one dude's internet preference. Nonetheless, these are really cool to see, and it's really cool to see how Split has evolved into the beautiful mess it is today. Big thanks to Frisk for sharing these, they were awesome to look at. Moving on to our last story, episode 2 of the next big update seems right around the corner for Valorant, and that means many things, the chief among them being leaks. Valor Leaks on Twitter is one of the most accurate and active data miners in the community, and has even been recognized by Riot for what he's accomplished and found in the game code. Normally, he would be my first check on an update day, but today he tweeted out something much more interesting. It seems Riot invited a select few individuals to participate in an early beta build of episode 2. This was also apparently either a short or non-NDA'd event, meaning that the content creators are free to talk about what they saw. So tomorrow, Valor Leaks will be uploading a YouTube video about everything he got to play and see. This should, at minimum, contain actual new agent gameplay, battle pass and skin previews, as well as potentially the first reveal of a new map. Tomorrow will be a huge day of leaks, so if you want to go into episode 2 spoiler free, I would delete Reddit and Twitter for 24 hours and bunker down. And don't worry, we will definitely be covering this video in a future news video. But before you go digging through all of that juicy new information, maybe it's time to do a little digging into some brand new strats for the next time you want to call that 5-man B-rush. I'm looking at you, yeah. I know what you're doing. Stop it. Go to SkillCapped.com. It has tons of resources for understanding and implementing the most effective strats for each map, and learning how to call like a true in-game leader. Step up your strat book today by going to SkillCapped.com, link down below. And that's all we have for the news today. Let me know what you guys think down below. Am I being too over the top about this MMR situation? Would you guys want something different than my suggestion? Let me know in the comments down below. While you are down there, make sure to like the video and subscribe as well for more news and guides just like this. We here at SkillCapped would like to thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.